Welcome back to HBO Girls Rewatch.
I'm Amelia.
And I'm Evan.
And today we are covering
Season 4, Episode 8, Tad and Loreen and Avi and Shanaz.
Which, if you don't know, if you're like, why is it called that? It is
give us a little history lesson.
Yeah, it's a play on the 1969 classic film called Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
They're so good at references here.
I know. Well, it goes to show you that Hannah is actually a genius because she watched a lot of movies growing up. Something that we can't say because we grew up with the Disney Channel. So.
Whoa. I'm looking at Amelia's notes. So educational. So brilliant.
I love.
Wait, so what was your note-taking style like in high school? Were you like 8 different colored pencils?
So I would buy the paper-made Flair M pens in an 8-pack or 10-pack maybe, and their colors. And my notes were just like every new topic would be a different color, and my notes would try and like cover the page in a fun way and use different fonts. So it was very much like the Civil War in like the cutest pink cloud you've ever seen. Like I was taking 8-push notes like it was like the good news. But it was bad news because America's built on bad news.
Wait, I've never heard of the news referred to as the good news. It's a shocking thing. For me, note-taking was more of like an act of trying to remember something.
Wait, you can't sit back like that. You're making me look too big. You look too small. This isn't fair.
I'm legally okay with that.
No, this isn't fair.
For commercial, do you want me to sit like this?
Yeah, that feels good. That makes me feel good. For listeners at home that are like, what?
Wait, can I lean back?
You can lean back. It's because I have a pillow, so I guess I'll just get rid of it. For listeners at home, for people who are listening instead of watching the podcast, we are recording in a different way. We are recording online instead of in person.
Yeah, and I love so Amelia getting upset that I'm sitting back further than her. It's like, she's valid for that because there's one superpower this girl has, and it's angling herself in photos so she is the smallest one. She will throw her friends to the wolves and make them look 8 times their regular size.
Can I just say...
Your mimicry comes into effect every single time you take a photo because you're like, I understand angles and I'm going to use it against all my friends. To make them look giant and me so tiny.
Can I just say my middle school best friend's mom, Tracy... I remember at her yearly fish fry, we were taking a group photo and she posed it a certain way. And I was like, why are you posing like that? And she's like, girl, let me teach you a lesson. And she was like, you need as many angles as possible. That's how you're going to look best in photos. And I've never forgotten it. Thank you, Tracy, and congrats on your new marriage.
I wonder if it's a Texas thing, because we were talking about this earlier. My cousin has been given a signature pose by her mother-in-law, who lives in Texas. And every single time they take a photo, they have to strike this specific pose, and there are so many angles in this. We got 90, we got 45, we got a 180, and honey, it's 360 all around. They're killing it. I will say that.
Literally. Well, I urge you listeners to take note of the magazine photo shoots you're seeing and see how many different angles they force a girl to make.
I'm like, I don't know. Is this in frame? It kind of is. There's so many angles going on here. This is a cute.
You need so many arms bent, legs every which way. Like, that's how you're going to look awesome because our eyes are, like, drawn to...
They're literally making parallelograms with her bodies.
Yeah. Anyways, me and Evan are in matching hoodies today.
This is sick. Well, they're almost matching. If you look at them, this is a haunted house and that's a castle.
Which is crazy because mine's a black one. We're so Halloween. It's January, babes. Babes, I grew up. It's January. Sorry.
Every podcast has to do one English accent one time. It's required.
We're kind of in hoodie garb because our guest is coming to us live from LA. So we thought we'd lean in. We thought we'd throw our New Yorker need to dress up to the wind and be cozy.
Nothing's vintage here. Everything is comfy, cozy vibes. And that's the LA way. I've never been to LA except for one time, and I said that last episode. So it's like I'm kind of today I can be in LA. We can change my area code.
Yeah.
It's cool because this whole time I can shake my head at myself now.
You can be like, girl,
get a grip.
We're so excited for our guest today. A lot of you have been tagging us on TikTok, like, you need to get this person on the pod, get this person on the pod quick. We were going to fly to LA literally to have them in person and, really, be warm for once. But nobody would house swap with us. So we had to resort to the online medium. But we're so excited to bring them into the chat.
Jake Shane, I'm so excited. They launched their podcast yesterday. Yeah, they released their podcast yesterday. So for you guys, will be a week and a day.
So if you're listening to Jake Shane today and you're like, wait, I'm loving the vibe. I want one without Amelia and Evan as a part of it. Jake Shane just released their new podcast called Therapus, where they become a therapist in quotations. I don't want them getting sued.
It's Amy Poehler.
It's so Amy Poehler, who has an improv podcast called Say More.
Say More.
With Dr. Sheila.
I love that podcast. We should plug another podcast.
Really?
I hate it. Sorry. Never mind. I love anything you do, Amy.
I love Amy, but I don't love improv comedy podcasts, so.
Wait, I like Clown Parade.
Oh, see, yeah, like, that's something I could not get into, and I really try my best.
Lauren Servidio's episode, who's going to be a guest on our upcoming live HBO Girls Rewatch podcast.
This is coming out 3 days before. So if you're tuning in now, we are doing a live podcast recording this Friday at Caveat NYC. We're not covering an episode. We're just doing girls, nostalgia porn. We're doing trivia. We're getting past guest Peyton
fan
Dix.
fiction.
Evan's getting into their fan fiction era.
Lauren Servideo.
Lauren Servideo is the other guest.
Special guest. We're going to have
special secret guest.
Special secret guest.
Y'all are going to be into it. So
if you come to the show and you find out who the special secret guest is, you can't tell anyone outside the show. We want to keep it kind of for our community.
Oh, okay. If you aren't in NYC, there are live stream tickets available for only $10. We have everything linked in our bio, but please, please, please tell your friends, families, enemies, anyone really who lives in New York.
Tell your girls.
Anybody you know who likes girls will like this show. So get them to come out. We're so excited to be in the Lower East Side this Friday.
See you then.
But for now, let's dive into our episode with Jake Shane. Oh my God, cross dissolve. It's Jake.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're the most tagged person we've ever had on this podcast. So for you to be here today, it's like manifestation and the @ can do so many things.
Yeah.
Well, I manifested on my side too. Like when I started rewatching Girls, like, well, first of all, I started rewatching because like your guys' clips from your TikToks would come up on my For You page. And I'm sure Julia saw those because Julia then restarted watching Girls and was like, I'm rewatching Girls. And I'm like, damn, I haven't seen that since I was like, I watched it in like 7th and 8th grade. And like, granted, like, I can't appreciate that. I can't appreciate it when I'm in 7th and 8th grade. You know what I mean?
7th and 8th. My parents would not pay for premium cable in 7th and 8th grade. They were like, they were too good.
Yeah, my parents were like, it's important.
That's where real education happens is on premium cable. I do say that.
Yeah. So I watched like True Blood in 5th grade.
Oh my God, you're so much wiser than us now, probably.
I feel wise.
Wait, so when you were 12 years old, were you like, this is awesome? Like, what were you
what's
feeling?
Improv?
I was like, I'm trying to like remember what I remember feeling like, okay, the reason I started watching it is because I read Entertainment Weekly every week, and I remember like there was like a scene. It was season 1, episode 3. It was when they synced Dancing on My Own, and it was like it was a huge moment. Like everyone was covering it. Like Twitter was exploding. Like people were just loving it, and I was like, damn, I should probably like this show looks like interesting. Everyone was talking about it.
Loved it.
And then I think, and then I started it, and I don't really remember what I thought. I think the only thing I remember is like, why is everyone making such bad decisions? Like, it's so hard when you're like 12 years old or 13 years old to like really grasp the narrative of like a show like that. Like, I don't really remember.
Totally. I mean, it's cool that you were like, they're up to no good. Because when I watched it at 19, I was like, these girls are smart and aren't making any mistakes.
Yeah, literally, when I was a teenager, I never thought a 20-year-old could make a mistake. So for you to see that at such a young and prime age, you're much smarter than us already off the gag.
No, but I think when I rewatched it, I was like, it's interesting because I didn't view them like as mistakes anymore. Like I was like, why are they and there's definitely moments where I'm like, for example, in the episode we're going to talk about like when Hannah and Maude Apatow's character like gets those piercings, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like
Jake,
what's happening? What are you
when we
doing?
get to LA,
What
we're
are you
gonna do
doing?
time piercings with you. I hope
Yeah.
that's a big part of us coming out.
Wait,
And I'm gonna chicken out, but I would love to see what you get up to.
No, I will do that with you guys. Like I'm telling you right now, like us three, when you're in LA in February, we're doing
Thank
the tongue
God.
piercings. But I remember thinking, like when I was a kid, like like all these decisions they made were such mistakes. Like, but then I rewatch it and I'm like, okay, like for example, like Hannah's diary, I'm like, well, it's not Hannah's fault that they snooped around and read her diary. She can say whatever the fuck
God
she
forbid
wants.
she
Like,
writes her life.
It's a real
right.
thing.
God, like, and so you know what I mean? Like, it's just like I still view stuff as mistakes, but like not it's not the same way when I was like younger. It's just like a different way of watching it. Like, and I like appreciate. Like everyone's like, oh my God, like this is the worst friend group ever, and I'm like, yeah, but like, it doesn't. Don't you like? I think like the moral of the story is like none of them know what the fuck they're doing except for Shoshana, who ends up figuring
Jake, what
it
you're
out.
describing is mindset is everything. And living in LA, this is such a poignant thing. Mindset is everything.
I always say that I lived in LA for 2 years, and the one thing I learned there is that you have to just kind of be crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
But I'm so happy for both of you. You get to be crazy and now have a new lens on the HBO Girls Rewatch or just show.
I know. Well, we have to ask Jake because you seem so emotionally moved. In your rewatch, you know, there's so much raw emotion there, and we have to know, like, why is it really affecting you so deeply this time around? Do you think?
From the time I stopped, so I stopped watching when I I want to say like my sophomore year of high school. I think that's when Hannah went to Iowa. I think that's when I stopped watching. And I just like life got in the way, and I was like busy. I was a high school student and whatever. And in between then and now, I think I've like, you know what I mean? Like I've lived so many of the experiences that I judged Hannah for. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone's like, she's the most selfish person ever. And I'm like, yeah, I've definitely been told that before, but like, I also like, I feel bad. I feel bad. Like I feel bad for some of the situations like that they find themselves in. Like Hannah's feelings of like she feels really lonely. Like at the beginning of the show before, you know, she really starts dating Adam, she feels so lonely and she feels so like, you know what I mean? Like she's like down for Adam to like be like this, like honestly sexually super creepy with her. And like, I feel like I've just like been there and like, just like, like, I don't know. I think I just resonate with Hannah more. I resonate with how she like, and I know people are like, oh, the worst, but like, I think I'm able to resonate with the characters and how they're feeling like way more. So it's just like really emotional for me to watch. Like also I have really, really bad OCD. And I remember watching Hannah have her OCD
episode.
like meltdown, the Q-tip scene. When I was a kid, I watched that and that was the first time, I'll never forget it, I saw my OCD like on screen. Like I never, because I'd been told my whole life, like, okay, just stop. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Just stop. Or like OCD is just like making sure everything's neat. But like I had Hannah's OCD and that was the first time I ever saw that happen. So I think watching it years later again, like knowing that like I just have similar stuff to her and like she's goes through some of the stuff that I go through. Like it's just like emotional. Yeah, that's so. I mean, we actually. I don't know, and like I want.
No. Sorry, I mean, you're making. Does your OCD manifest in a similar way to Hannah says?
Yeah, it started where I would have to make everything even. So that's why when she was doing that, I was like, holy shit, I literally thought I was the only, when I was like 14, 15, I thought I was the only person in the world who that has ever happened to. Just because it's not really like talked about in the media, which is like fine. I mean, like it is what it is, but like I just had never seen that before. So like my OCD was very like numbers based, like Hannah's. It wasn't neat. So everyone was like, you say you have OCD, but your room's a mess. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not the same thing. And like, I think that's what Hannah struggles so hard with explaining to people. So then like watching Adam like understand Hannah's OCD, like, and watching other people around her being like, what's going on? Like, I just like related really hard to it. And I think watching that, like, just related me to the show in general. And like that really like solidified like just like this connection I felt with her. Just because like I'd never seen that on screen before.
Right. That's so amazing to hear because we've had previous guests be like, that was the last straw for me. Like Hannah's OCD, like season 2 finale, I stopped watching the show because it was too much. And it's like, we're always wondering like, oh, if Lena had known that so many people literally stopped watching the show because it was like too real for them. If she knew that you're like, I'm being represented for the first time in my life and finally, thank God this is happening. Maybe she'd stand by her decision.
Yeah, I mean, does she not?
Yeah.
Does she say she doesn't stand? Does she say she
think-
wishes she didn't?
I think she does, but so many people have been like, I had to stop watching the show
because
after
it's so
that.
grotesque that the Q-tip in the ear. People are like, they have to stop watching.
It's so grotesque, but I'm here to tell you that like that's legit. Like when you have like an OC, like I remember during COVID, I had a really, really bad one. And like, it is just like, it's inescapable. Like, I think what Lena Dunham was so talented. I mean, if I was her, I'd be like, damn, like, okay, I'm almost kind of like happy that people are finding this too real to stop watching because that means I've done my job at like properly portraying like what it is that I've gone through.
100%. HBO goes there.
Premium cable.
Yeah, HBO Go as it once was.
HBO goes where
Yeah.
ABC does.
Glee would never.
Actually, I think it might be the one show that might reverse that.
Okay, well, let's quickly dive into today's episode. We have a segment where we do a minute to win it. We try and give a summary of the entire episode in under 1 minute. Do you think you can help us?
I absolutely think I can help you.
I know.
And away we go.
Loreen gets tenure. Right after Loreen gets tenure, Tad says, I'm gay. Loreen's like, wait, LOL, no, you're not. And he's like, wait, nope, yes, I am. And he's like, she's like, what? And then they have to go to a dinner party and pretend like everything's normal when he just came out to her as gay after she got tenure. And then Hannah's...
Do you want me to?
Oh, you want me to? Okay. And so then Loreen is like, oh, fuck you, Tad. And then Avi tries to make out and confesses his love for her. And then anyways, they get home and the episode kind of actually ends with Loreen being like, Hannah, your dad's gay. And Hannah being like, what? But on the flip side, Hannah's going through this whole thing.
Hannah's being one of the best substitute teachers ever. Pranked your ass because she's actually being so mean to Maude Apatow by getting a tongue piercing, by making her get a tongue piercing and actually chickening out last minute. Shoshana's going on a date where she's like, you know what? I'm not going to be myself the whole time. I'm going to be sex forward for 10 seconds and make it really awkward. Maybe I do have a slimy pickle in my V-hole. Jess is giving the worst advice ever, but you know what? That's her whole damn thing. And Marnie is so mad because Desi spent $2,000 on who knows what where. And
the episode ends, of course, with Desi deciding that the best way to make it up to Marnie is to propose. And Marnie says yes.
Oh my, you have such a good episode, James.
Watching that, I was like...
I didn't know.
Like...
Well, can we just start there?
Am I allowed to talk about like future episodes of relation? Wait, sorry, I just froze. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Am I allowed to like, reference future episodes?
Anything for you. Yeah.
Like, it's not a secret. We know she has a baby, you know?
Okay, right, exactly. I know we need to get to Tad and Loreen. First of all, it is so, you know what, maybe I'll start with them. It is so interesting to like get an episode with them without Hannah because they are Hannah. Like, do you know what I mean?
When Loreen is like, it's not about me. I said...
Wait, actually, I have to ask you one really important question first.
So. Before we dive into the episode, we do have to ask,
girl, what girl are you?
Hannah Horvath.
Yeah, you kind of were hinting that way.
Yeah.
Have you always
Hannah
been
Horvath.
your Hannah? It sounds like it, right?
No, I didn't. The OCD was the most I was like, oh, that's me. That's when I was like a kid and I watched that, I was like, that I relate to that. Rewatching it, I'm like, damn, fuck.
But you talk like Shoshana though.
Yeah.
Shosh.
I know. I think I want to be Shosh more than anything, but I am Hannah Horvath. And I'll tell you why. There was one scene when they read her diary And Marnie and Charlie like break up because of it. And Marnie's like, you've done some real damage. And it goes silent. And Hannah goes, okay, but like, let's say you were reading this from like a third party point of view. Like, do you think the writing was good? Like, I was like, okay, that's me. I am Hannah Horvath. Like, I would ask like the same question. I'm the worst. Like, that's me. I would do that.
Or you do the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but she is so funny too. And she's so self-deprecating. And she also has this line where she says, where Adam's like, you're so judgmental or something, or you're not scared of, and she's like, everything you could possibly think to say to me, I've said to myself or worse in the last half hour. And like, she just has all these moments that I really relate to. Like when Adam's like, you love yourself so much. Like, why is it so hard to believe that someone else would love you too? Like all these moments, like, I just like, I find myself always relating to like some shit that Hannah's going through.
Yeah, everybody is afraid to admit it, but we're all so much more Hannah than we know.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, wait, Evan, this episode, what girl were you?
I need to ask you for first ones.
Okay.
Because I love you and I appreciate you.
Okay.
Girl, what girl are you?
So this episode, I was totally Cleo core in that I'm addicted to getting a girl 8 years older than me to be my best friend and then doing whatever she says. And I would like force myself to get a piercing I don't want just to like impress them. That's kind of my advantage.
Right. Okay, so we're doing this episode, What Girl Are You?
You can do whatever, but we're stuck to a script here. We have to do this specific episode.
Okay, then I'm going to do, after you, Evan, I'm going to do...
Yeah, let's do it all again. Yeah.
That is beautiful. If I had to be, I'm just Shauna on the date. I swear to God. If someone told me to be sex forward for 10 seconds on a date, I'd be like, okay, I guess I'll try it out for one. I'll be earnest for 95% of the time, and then I'm going to give you the world's weirdest line, and we're just going to have fun with it. And if you can handle that test, you can handle me.
Right. I also think I'm Shoshana just because of that scene where she's sex forward and he's like, what do you... I feel like on dates, I'm always like trying to put on this like act. And then he's like, wait, the entire cast of like The Good Wife is right there. And she's like, wait, what? Yeah. And like that, I was like, okay, that is something I would do. So I would also
like,
agree. Evan,
your hand through your hair, and then you're like, "Wait, I think they're on Housewives."
Yeah, and they're like, and she's like, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's dead," and she's like, "But she's right there," and it's like so deep.
They have fun. Oh God, love
She's the only girl that gets it.
I know. Okay, well, now that we all know what girls we were in this episode, let's dive in. Let's lean into Lena. Where should we start?
I follow you.
I'm kind of loving Tad and Lorraine. If we want to start there.
Let's start with Tad and Lorraine.
Because it's a gay accusation. It's like, we always knew he was gay. It's so fun for foreshadowing to be happening. We never got that in media, especially TV. And it's like the only time we've seen foreshadowing in media is Harry Potter, which is ridiculous. And I don't care about that franchise.
Right.
For us to finally get it in a TV show 3 seasons ahead of its time, it's actually ridiculous to clock. And I'm so happy that he finally got enough courage to admit to his wife immediately after therapy that he's actually gay, G-A-Y.
But the best part of that is when she goes, what? He's like, I didn't want to tell the therapist. And the best part is she goes, why wouldn't you tell the therapist who we pay? Like, that's the best part. Because it's like, yeah, like when did that, like you tell her after therapy?
You think you're honest with your therapist, or are you honest with yourself after therapy in private?
So interesting you say that. Recently, I've been I've finally found a therapist that I'm like so honest with.
Me too.
But I think if I did therapy with like a friend or a significant other, no way I'd be honest.
Yeah,
but like
no way.
I don't know. Like I'm so happy that like Tad is like living his truth. But I also like I understand when Loreen's like, yeah, I mean, it's not about me as well. Like, this is like hard on me. Like, fuck, it's such a hard and sad situation. And then, I mean, just like the writing of it is so good. Like when he picks up the Riesling and she's like, Riesling's too sweet.
So
just like in reference to like him being gay. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so smart. Like,
it's so well.
And he's like, well,
it is, of course, Grace and Frankie. The pilot episode is also about this when they find out that their husbands of decades are gay for each other and they're devastated. So it was cool to see the girls take on that. But truly devastating. I think I would break if I found out like so many years down the line. But then I'd have to be happy for them, but it would be like a whole mourning process for sure.
I know.
No, you're like mourning. You're mourning. It's a mourning period, and I think what Girls does so well is that they set it up against this big achievement in Loreen's life. So you know what I mean? Like she gets tenure, okay, but then her husband like came out as gay.
No,
and I think that's
what Girls get for the show.
I think that's what Girls get so right at the end of the day, because it's like they put really good things mixed with really bad things, kind of. And I feel like the moral of Girls' story is like life is filled with ups and downs, and like there's no correct way to handle it.
Literally.
But like this is how these characters handle it, and like you can yell at them, you can get mad at them, but like, do you know what I mean? I just find it fascinating.
No, it's a
like
modern
the way
day tragedy.
It's truly yin yang happening in real time, but it is so like women can never have anything. Like she gets tenor, and of course it has to be her husband's gay.
Tenor.
Also,
she's a high octave.
Can I just say I spent like I think 23 years of my life thinking tenor was just people saying 10-year really quick, and that it was.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Is it not?
No. So it's
tenure.
It's TENURE. Tenure.
Yeah, but it sounds like tenure, but it's tenure.
And it doesn't mean that you worked somewhere for 10 years. It means that you like got a
You can't get fired as a teacher. So it's like
I thought it meant you could get. It was really hard to get fired.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I remember like growing up and just like having like some of the worst, and I'm like, yeah, like how are they still here? You know
what? All their husbands come out as gay, immediately they get tenure. And that's actually that's actually why they're bad teachers.
Yeah.
How good is it when Loreen is like, you're so like, everything's misogyny, because like he comes out as gay right out, like it's, and I'm like, oh my god, that's something Hannah would say. Like watching the episode is so nice because it's like, oh my god, like that's something Hannah would say. Like when Avi is showing Tad his book, and he's like, how are you coming along with your book? And Tad's like, oh, you know, I'm coming along with it. I'm like, oh my god, Hannah's like a genuine mix of Tad and Loreen.
Literally, and can we just say, like, this exact plot happened to Hannah already with Elijah. Right. So Hannah's already been through what her mother's been through. I hope we see a heart-to-heart between them on that trauma.
I know everyone in this TV show is addicted to having a book or almost finishing a book. Because Tad can't finish a book, Lorraine didn't finish her book, Hannah can't finish her book. That whole family of Horvaths are literally can't complete.
Right, and then it's like it's almost like God doesn't want them to finish their books. Like, do you remember when like Hannah like couldn't finish her book, and then her publisher died, and she was like, "So sad. What's going to happen to my book?"
Yeah, it's a mutation in their genes.
Her at the funeral. I miss those days. Were we ever?
I mean, it's just brilliant. It's really like really, really, really like no one could play Hannah better than Lena Dunham. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Hannah is.
The way she just the way she speaks, the way she carries her, it's so perfect. And I just think that's why it works.
Exactly.
100%. Also, claps for Becky and Baker. This actress is unreal. I mean, every scene here as Loreen, she is just eating it up. Also, the dialogue at the end where she's like, so do you just want dicks in your mouth now? Are you wanting a dick in your ass?
Yeah.
Like, the way she acts, it's like, it's so like how a woman would talk.
Right. And it's so like she's almost trying to like poke at him for him to be like, well, no. You know what I mean? She's almost trying to like poke at it until he's like, well, no, that's not what I meant. Like she's going to like the most graphic extreme because she's like literally.
Well, have you seen All of Us Strangers yet?
No, I haven't.
Because when he comes out to his mom, it's like kind of a similar scene is happening where she's like, so you want to kiss men and now you want men to fuck you. It's a real parallel. So yeah, Amelia, you are right. Women of a certain age will talk about dicks and ass when it talks about gay people.
Yeah.
Right. Who's the actress that plays Loreen again? Because she's amazing.
Becky Ann Baker.
She is watching. My favorite part of this episode, because I rewatched it last night for this, is watching her. She's such a good actress. I'm pretty sure she's from like Broadway too. And you can see her go through the grief from the second he tells her until she like she goes through denial. She's laughing about it. And then she goes through anger. And then and then you see her go through acceptance. And like you literally like watch it all on her face. And it's like so just fascinating to watch.
I can always think a good marker of an actor or actress is you could tell what their signature scent would be. Like what kind of perfume they're wearing. Like you know exactly she's this little bit musky, a little bit florally scent. I think something maybe more.
A little floral.
Yeah.
A little floral, but a little like, okay,
Musky,
like maybe my grandma would wear that.
Yeah, and if you can figure out what kind of scent someone's wearing, it's like you know they're coming through the screen. And I've always felt towards this character.
Oh, that is actually so smart and so true.
Yeah, I love it.
Dimension is real.
Now, we're talking a lot about Loreen. How do you think Tad's kind of feeling about coming out so late in life and being married and everybody being random towards him?
Wait, what age did you come out? And then it's so cool.
So interesting you asked that. It was like different times for different people. But I remember, like, obviously your parents know when you're gay. And so, like, we were in the car on the way back from White Plains.
And you have
I forget why I was there, what we were doing, but my mom said to me, oh, like, no, Jake, by the way, like, it was so random. Like, I think I was in 4th grade. Like, by the way, no matter who you are, like, I'll always accept you, like, whatever you want, like, just something, like, very sweet like that, which is why it's so important to tell your kids that, because then the very next day, I went up to my mom's office and I told her, and I was like 10, I think. And she was like, oh, I know, sweetie. Like, do you want me to tell Dad that we had this conversation? And I was like, no, it's fine. Even though I'm sure she did. And then I was like, and then apparently I asked for like a toy or something because I thought like I deserved like.
That's so young.
I know, but I attribute that to my mom and my dad. They're like so chill. And then because I was watching this kind of TV, so I knew what was going on, kind of. And then I didn't come out until my friends, the freshman year of high school, who also were like, we know. And then everyone kept asking me. And then I didn't come out, but I just kind of stopped denying it. Because I remember Frank Ocean didn't like, it was a big deal that like he was gay. And he like did, stop it. And he didn't come out. And I remember thinking that was really cool. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do that.
It's so relatable. It's like in media, you're like always looking for examples of people that didn't come out but are still gay. And you're like, I can do that too. I can be cool like that. But it's actually sometimes, what you're saying is such a parallel experience. But I didn't come out at 10 years old. I came out at like 16, 17, 18.
Yeah. That's when I really came out.
Yeah.
But like to my parents, 10. To the world where I was able to like call guys hot in public and like loudly and like in real life. 16. 15.
I love that coming out means calling men hot in public.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
no, absolutely.
I remember like there was just like moments where I would have to be like, well, like, oh my God, I don't even know. But like, yeah, 15, 16 was when I really universally was like, I don't care if someone's calling me gay because I'm gay.
100%. Do you think Tad didn't come out because he didn't have access to the right media as a young boy?
I honestly, I don't know why he didn't come out, but I'm really happy that he did it. Like, it's so nice to see, like, in his final, like, chapters of, like, his life, he was able to do it. But I think what Girls is so good at is you're able to feel so happy for Tad while also feeling empathetic for Loreen. Right. You know what I mean? Because you're like,
totally.
I feel, and they don't do it in like some insensitive way where she's like, fuck you, Tad. She's just like, she's heartbroken. And you can tell she's like heartbroken as anyone would be. And to deny that would be insincere. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of what makes this episode so good is that Lena is really able to show you just how it is.
I wish Elijah could go up to Tad and be like, it's okay. Just like your parents came up to you, like I wish Elijah could do that same thing for Tad.
Totally. And maybe
I know.
Down the line.
Maybe, well, it does happen down the line.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, no, I think it's so fun. I think this episode, it was a lot about like showing like the lives of married couples. And I guess we end with Hannah finding out that her parents have their own lives. She's talking on and on.
Goes there.
Yeah, she's always talking on and on. Like, do you think this guy thinks I'm dramatic, blah, 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 blah. And like, faced with the fact that like, oh, her parents like also go through things.
Right. And it's so awesome, like watching it happen. She's like, Hannah is like, and then I'm no, Hannah, no, Hannah. And then on the third time, like, Hannah, your father's gay. And she's like, what? And then the episode ends. It's just so perfect. And because Todd's like sitting there, like, because Loreen's like, no, you're telling Hannah. Like, it's just, I almost wish though that this was, I love the scenes with Shoshana. I love the scenes with Jessa. I love the scenes with Marnie. I love Hannah and Cleo, but I almost wish this was a capsule episode with just Ted and Loreen.
Totally.
I think it would have been so fascinating to just, like, you know, how Hannah gets a capsule episode in when she spends the weekend at the townhouse, and then American Bitch when she goes to the disgraced writers, and she goes to and then Marnie gets it in Panic in Central Park. Like, I wish this was a capsule episode for Hannah's parents. Like, but you know.
Me too.
I got chills.
I know, we have to agree. We have to mourn.
Well,
but
I love Avi really putting it out there though. Like he.
Oh my god! And then the end with Loreen just going like, she's like, oh, and Avi's in love with me, by the way.
Yeah, what happened to Lake House? I'm dying to know what happened to Lake House. They never specified it, and it's gonna haunt me till the day I die.
Right, and that was like such a good moment where it's like, you know, like, you're no angel either. Like, everyone's like, you know what I mean? Like,
totally.
It was such like, it was like, if you're feeling bad for Loreen, like, and angry at Tad, like, that moment right there, it's like she's laughing because it's such like a, yeah, like, fuck. Like, this is just kind of like, no one's really right or wrong here. Like, everyone's just kind of like going through the motions.
It's so watching Hannah in a different world.
Font. Yes.
Yeah, but okay, we have to dive into Hannah's whole thing. So this episode is about her being best friends with a 16-year-old. How did you feel about the piercings thing?
That scene as a viewer made me really, I was dying laughing. Like, dying laughing. It was so funny. But I was angry because you watch in seasons 1, 2, and 3, Hannah barely hold on to a job. Like, can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, she can't hold on to a single, like, she's like everything goes wrong. And then so finally she's the substitute teacher and she's writing her book, and you're like, okay, great. And then you're like, wait, why are you befriending a 16-year-old? But my favorite part of it is when, just because, like, I went to school in New York, so, like, I'm just, like, dying. Like, that is something, like, someone would say. Where she's like, I love Shia LaBeouf. And she's like, yeah, well, you know, like, he's older than you. And she's like, but he lives in my building.
I was going to say.
Well, it's like in Hannah's head, so going to public school, she was like, celebrities are so far away. But when you go to, like, a magnet school, you know celebrities are close to you.
Well, Jake, I went to Windward, if you know what that is. New York.
Wait, I know Windward.
The dyslexic one?
Yes, I think I might have. Yeah, no, I think I might have toured it. I think I might have toured it. If I remember correctly, I ended up going to Calhoun.
Oh,
do you know Calhoun?
Yeah.
Really progressive. Like, no walls, teachers by the first name.
Right, and my school is all about, like, kids who could barely. I was, like, illiterate until I went to middle school, but then everyone was like a celebrity's child.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course. Like, that's just like, so watching that scene I was like, I'm dying. And like, you know, but it was really.
Daughters?
Oh, huge.
Do I care about the what?
Apatow daughters, Iris and Maude.
Yeah, I think Maude is super talented. Like, I think watching her, like, I think it's like watching Maude, like, in all, like, I think it's, like, fascinating. I think it's fascinating to watch someone that, like, I didn't realize she was in it until you watch it. So, like, I remember seeing her in Euphoria, and then it's like, oh, cool. Like, this is her in Girls. It's cool to see someone, you know, play, like, different characters. But yeah.
You know, it makes me sick to my stomach, though.
What?
Is that they couldn't write Leslie Mann into the script. Like, I haven't put Leslie Mann in any of this show. Hurts me to this every single day. It's like, Judd, you had one role. Let's get your wife into something.
How good would Leslie Mann have been as, like, Hannah's boss somewhere?
Literally.
Like, think of Leslie Mann in This Is 40, or kind of any of Judd Apatow.
No, I think This Is 40.
Like,
because she's a shop owner. She could just be a shop owner for Jessa.
Literally. It would be so good. Like, they would maybe Leslie was busy or something.
Probably so busy. But
different time of
speaking
year.
of Jessa, can I touch on Jessa quickly, or am I disrupting?
Yeah,
No,
let's dive straight into Jessa. Why
please.
not?
This season and these episodes are right when you start to see Jessa just become this sinister friend. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Why the fuck? I know you and Adam are going to AA together. Why the fuck are you hanging out outside of it? And why the fuck are you talking romance? That is your best friend's ex-boyfriend. First love of her life, ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, but are you not seeing that every single day, like incest between friend groups is happening almost all the time, every day, and it hurts people's feelings, but yet people don't care and they'll do it anyway?
Yeah, but like watching this was just like, what? Like, Hannah's such a good friend to Jessa. You know what I mean? Like,
Endlessly good, even though Jessa is constantly being evil towards her.
yeah, because Jessa goes through life with this motto of like, whatever. And Hannah like accepts it. Like, that's just Jessa, you know? Like, whatever. But like you start to see like Jessa's like, oh, I only set like why would you set Adam up with Mimi Rose? First of all, when you find out that Jessa set them up after watching Hannah get home and just be like devastated that Adam is with someone new, like you're like, how? And Hannah continues to speak to Jessa after it and be her friend. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel like this is the beginning of the end for Jessa.
I mean, it really is. She can't even offer advice to Shoshana that's not so terrible that could ruin everything immediately.
The best part of shows to see how many more times Jessa can actually wrong Hannah, and we're going to see a few more of those, which is fantastic for everyone.
We're frankly just warming up,
Yeah.
folks.
We're just warming up for the...
Really...
Oh, my God, this show. I'm sorry, I think I need to come back on when we get to season 6, because I have so many more things to say.
No, let's face again soon, for sure.
Like... Yeah.
Jessa giving advice to Shoshana it's like I have 10 suicide attempts under my belt. First off, hilarious line, but also it's like, Jessa, Shoshana, please don't take that advice. That's actually...
You know, but the best part is Shoshana does it. Shoshana goes, it's like you see this like moment of growth from her. Shoshana's like, yeah, Jessa, no, I stopped taking advice from you a while ago.
And you're unemployed, don't have a boyfriend.
Yeah, like when you see Shoshana clap back, like to me, those are some of the best moments in this entire show.
Yeah, can we dive into Shoshana really quick and
see her hygiene?
Her hygiene. Yeah, what is she plucking?
Her bikini area.
I think it's like her bikini area because she's like wanting to be so sex forward, so she's like plucking her bikini, like she's shaving before a date.
Yeah. It's actually
that's not Shoshana. You know what I mean? And it's nice that in the middle of the date, the guy's like, huh?
I would argue Shoshana because she has her panties on.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is like crazy.
She's campaigning with Ray in this episode?
Yeah. Oh my God. And she's campaigning with Ray.
Her little bobby pins, girl. I've seen enough.
But like, I love that if you notice, Shoshana's storylines are always about like she's like, oh my God, I can help. Like with Ray, she's like, I can help campaign with you. And then with the coffee shop after she gets back from Japan, she's like, I can help market this. And one of my favorite parts of the episode is when Ray is like talking about this like past love that he's had. And Shoshana's obviously like, you're talking about me. And then Shoshana looks at him and is like, Marnie? And then instead of like throwing her campaign stuff down and like walking away, she moves away and he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, campaigning over here.
Yeah.
It's I'm dedicated to this, but I hate you.
I want her campaign for my team though. That is so important for her to be hitting on guys right in front of Ray. I
have to say, I feel so hurt there because when somebody deeply wrongs me, I'm still like gonna support them. I'm just gonna do it one step further away from them.
Right. And it's just like so, Shoshana's just, I don't know. I just like, she's so likable. Like you can't hate Shoshana. She's
been
feels like she wants to be a good friend. That's all she cares about. She wants to have a good group of friends. She wants to have a good husband and she wants to do something that makes her happy. And I feel like Shoshana is almost just gets like sucked into this world of like all these like selfish people, and it's like funny to see her try to like claw her way out of it.
I know.
100%.
It does feel, yeah. Well, it fills me with so much joy to see her on this date with such a kind person.
Yeah, she deserves him, but it's so sad to see how low self-esteem she has on the date because she's feeling so loser for not having a job. And I love that he is comforting her because she's usually surrounded by people who are more loser than her. And now she's feeling like the loser. And he's like, we don't use those words. Like, I don't think you're a loser. You shouldn't think you're a loser. Everything's great.
How startup culture is that, though? Like, we don't use the word loser.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
My 5-year-old dad was working at a startup one time, and they only use they, them pronouns. But then when I bring my friends that use they, them pronouns home, he won't use the pronouns to their face, but only behind their backs. It's something, one of the most curious explanations of our whole lives.
That's so...
They do it on purpose, but I don't know. It's so fun.
Andrew, I'm sure you're trying your best.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Different generations interacting is always...
It's always something.
Always something.
So Shauna's date goes amazing. Yay. Hannah decides she should try again and make up for kind of taking Fran to an art show last episode. And so she's like, hey, like, you're attracted to me. Like, sorry I fucked that up, but like, let's do it again. And he's like, your drama, I gotta stay away.
Yeah, and then she's like, what? And then she's like, it's funny because you see Hannah. Okay, so she's like been rejected. She like talks about being rejected a lot up until Adam, and then post Adam, she's like, I feel like in this area of like sexual freedom, and like I can like it's almost like Jess has rubbed off on her, and like I'll get whatever I'll get whatever guy I want. And then this guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then it's almost like fascinating. It's just like great to see her be like, what? It's like bursting her bubble a bit.
And it's so, like, not to make another parallel between Loreen and Hannah, but I'm gonna. Like, Loreen and Tad's fight that ends with her being like, it's misogyny at the end of the day.
No.
And then Hannah being like, oh, you're, like, not wanting to have sex with me right now? Misogyny. Like, it's...
Yeah, right, yes. No, but there's so many parallels throughout the episode of just, like, where you're like, oh my God, Hannah is her parents' daughter. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, she's
and it's
her
like
mother's daughter, too, very specifically. Like, they always describe a son's relationship with their parents versus a daughter's, where it's like a son tries to, like, through masculinity, like, grows apart from the family, where the daughter often, like, intertwines with, like, the quilt who her mother is, and, like, really entwines herself in a family and, like, becomes her mother in a way that men are just so separated from. And she does such a good job of describing this, like, nuanced, like, idea in a really, like, tangible way for audiences to grasp onto. I might not understand the complexity of that, but she does like a really good job of just like showing us this like fun idea. Now we all watch the show and we walk away with a lesson. I think that's why we really love it.
Right. Yeah. It's like you watch it and you leave it and you're like, I don't know what's happening. And like stuff has gone to shit, but like you watch it and you're like, I know they'll figure it out. And in turn, you'll be like, I know I'll figure it out. No matter what I'm dealing with, like they'll figure it out, I'll figure it out. And I think that's what makes a good sitcom. And I think that's what makes Girls so good.
No, I literally want to get on this couch and start dancing because absolutely. I want to do it right now. I'm absolutely feeling exactly what you're putting down.
You wanted an Ellen.
I want to do an Ellen right now so bad.
I wanted to DVR her in middle school. I was like, I gotta watch my daytime TV.
We can't skip.
I was never an Ellen stan. I never watched.
Really?
I never watched.
I'd argue an amazing Ellen replacement, though.
Me?
Yeah, if you had the Ellen show, you'd be so good at
Get
it.
me to WB Law.
You'd be so good at Ellen.
Oh, my dream. Like, honestly, that would be my dream. Yeah. But I never watched as a kid. I only watched when, like, she'd bring on, like, someone I watched on YouTube. Like, when Grace and Chance went on, like, I watched.
Right, exactly.
Of course.
We all set our asses down.
The YouTubeification of daytime talk shows is not spoken about enough. It's like, why was I in high school like binge watching Jimmy Fallon clips? I was just like,
what a time. But also, like, they would pull from YouTube too and like make these people into like literal A-list celebrities for like 2 weeks. Literally. Like you had Alex from Target, and then you had Sophia Grace and Rosie, and it's like, what?
We don't have half of viral culture anymore.
When Sophia Grace and Rosie sat down for tea time with Taylor Swift, the world shook.
shook. It stopped.
Yeah, I do want Meredith. I want Meredith from Salt Lake City on Ellen right now, though. I need to know what's going through her head.
Wait, are you guys watching Salt Lake? Sorry, I know this is about Maude, but
I guess I've watched up to season 4 and I haven't actually watched season 4, but I of course know the ending and it's truly insane.
That's fucking television.
That's fucking television. It was written by Lena Dunham.
That's fucking television. My jaw was, oh my God. Like, Amelia, have you seen it or are you planning to watch it?
I've missed it.
I'm going to make you watch it after this.
Don't. Evan, did you spoil it already for her?
A little tiny bit, but I won't. No more on my mouth.
You need to just watch the last 5 episodes of season 4. You don't need to like watch the whole thing. Like, let's be real. Like, just watch the last 5 episodes. Watch the Bermuda trip.
Okay, I'm doing my homework this weekend.
You'll never be the same.
We're pulling up. Oh my God. Yeah, that's another amazing show. But let's get back. We talked about Ellen. We talked about Salt Lake City. Now let's talk about girls in a really cool way. Okay. Thank God for Marnie finally getting a ring on that finger. KKKKKK. Feel so bad for her ass. Can you imagine your boyfriend spending your life savings on an instrument you've never heard of that's meant for an album 3 down the line? And then you run away to a restaurant, maybe Mediterranean, and in the background there's also one called Taco Taco with 2 U's in it, no O's.
Was it not a coffee shop?
No, in the background there's a restaurant saying Taco Taco, but it was with 2 U's. I've never, of course, please don't spell words like that anymore. It actually makes me angry.
Right.
As a dyslexic person, that's appropriating culture.
That for me, there was a lot of storylines and girls that were so hard to watch for me.
Yeah.
Desi and Marnie was honestly up there with probably the hardest.
I have to say, like, anytime Desi opens his mouth, I'm like, I hate my podcast about this.
Except for Bridget Everett, I want to skip the wedding so bad. I do not want to watch that. Oh. We can get Bridget Everett scene in it, and then other than that, no more.
I don't remember it.
She's a makeup artist.
I don't remember that either.
Wait, Bridget Everett, the one that's from with
Somebody Somewhere?
Yeah. She's a makeup artist. She's in the show.
Got it. Right. And yeah.
Where she,
you know, people, do you know the bold glamour filter on TikTok?
Yeah.
I'll say that's Marnie's makeup. But what bothers me the most is like those scenes, I just want to jump through the screen and scream. Like actually scream because Desi is so delusional and like watching, like Marnie fights back on it, but watching this like complacency almost happen because he'll like be like, well, here's a ring. And then she's like fine with it. It's just like so like infuriating and upsetting to watch.
You know what
like
it feels like? It's like you have a friend you haven't talked to in about like a year, but you still like them enough and you check them in their lives and they have a boyfriend now and you meet that boyfriend. It's Desi every single time. They're awful. They're bad. And you're like, actually, I can't invest back into your life.
I can't.
No.
And it's just like, I just hated their relationship. I hated watching it. I hated watching. I mean, if you really think about it, Marnie kind of loses herself the second she gets fired from that art gallery job. So right when she gets fired, that's when things start to go amiss. Cause like Marnie's a very structured person. She has a girl and she's structured. She has her job, she has Charlie, and this is what's happening. And then kind of all at once in season 1, Charlie leaves and she gets fired. And it's like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? And it leads her down this path, obviously up until Panic in Central Park, of just like horrible men and horrible life decisions.
It's really so sad. And it's also like powerful how much as soon as Marnie loses her job, which is like the first episode of season 2. And it's like when we think of Marnie, we mainly think of season 1, her, even though the majority of the show is this girl down so bad, pursuing music, only flopping Flop Central, having sex with the worst men in America. Like, and the way we still are like, oh yeah, that's a type A queen. And it's like, no, like, she's not. She's a lost girl that needs to be.
She's directing, producing, and starring in Flop Central. I swear to God, this poor girl.
No, like, literally. Oh my God. Like, and it's like you want to feel, I think Marnie is one of the characters that's hard to feel bad for because I think her method of deflecting, I think each character has a different method of deflecting, right? Like when someone accused, because each character gets accused of like you're making a bad decision and like they deflect in different ways. But the way Marnie deflects is like she gets kind of like holier than now and like acts like, you know what I mean? And I think that's what's like hard to watch. Like like you see it in like the Panic in Central Park episode when she sees Charlie. She's like, well, I'm married now. And as a viewer, you're like, you literally hate your life. Like, you know what I mean?
It's so bad. I think the thing about Marnie is she views her own life through such a tunnel vision of she's like, well, what story can I tell optically that's going to sound like everything's working out, regardless of what's actually happening and how I actually feel. So it's like she's constantly feeling so angry at Desi because he's kind of terrible to her. But then he does all these sweeping gestures that, like, if she told a story to somebody else about this Desi character, they'd be like, oh my God, he sounds like such a romantic. He sounds amazing. Like, of course you said yes. And it is so typical. Like, I know so many girls like this where they're like, they have the worst boyfriend in the world, but because like optically, like on paper, he actually sounds like good, they'll just stay with somebody who makes them miserable. Just
right. It's so sad. It's so sad to watch. The second she's like, yes, you're like, no.
I know. Just because someone's 6'3" doesn't mean you have to stay with them.
100%.
And rather not, actually.
Rather not. Well, I think I know what time it is.
I think I know what time it is, too.
Girl, get your Glock. It's rapid fire time. We're going to ask you a bunch of questions really quick. Just answer with whatever you think of first.
Whatever in your heart, you have to say that.
Okay, I'm ready.
What is your favorite utensil?
Fork.
Are you the voice of your generation or a voice of a generation?
A voice of a generation.
And why is Marnie mad at you?
Marnie's mad at me because I'm not supportive of her relationship. And like she can tell that I don't like it.
What's going to be your next piercing?
Under a tongue with you guys.
Yes. Do you think marriage is the best way to end an argument?
No.
Fuck, marry, kill. Tad, soap.
Soup mogul?
Oh.
Or Fran?
I was reading it as yeah.
Okay. Marry soup mogul. Fuck Fran. Kill Tad. And that's just based on attractiveness level.
Of course.
And why we threw Avi in there, where are we feeling?
Probably kill Avi as well.
Wait, and also shout out, I loved him in Shiva Baby as
I was
the dad.
going to say shout out for Shiva.
I've never seen Shiva Baby and I need to, but back to your rapid fire.
Jay, get it.
I know.
Girl, it's time. Okay. Where were you when you found out your parents were people?
Oh my God. Oh my God, why am I having chills? This actually happened last year. And I was in New York and I was doing something and I called my friend and I said very specifically, I'll never forget, I'm realizing now that like adults are grown-up children. Like we're not like these separate beings. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like adults are grown-up children. Like they were me once and like I, you know, like that's, I realized about a year and a half ago in New York.
That is so powerful. In New York City, the Big Apple.
Are you young, fun, and flaky?
Am I young, fun, and flaky? I'm young. I'm definitely really fun, and I'm not flaky because that gives me anxiety.
Ooh, tea.
And finally, are you writing your family into your projects?
I want to. Yeah. If I ever wrote something, without a doubt, my family would be written in.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah.
They are who you are.
I don't know. And you know what? It's not my rapid fire, so I don't have to answer.
Wait, you killed that. We gave you some really AP level questions.
I know. Yeah, Hannah's your substitute teacher in AP English this week.
Should we jump into our last segment now?
Yeah. Okay. That outfit
in Brooklyn?
That's when we care of Brooklyn then. First Brooklyn now. Can just like any cultural touch point. If you're reading Entertainment Weekly, so I would just like love to catch a headline from 10 years ago to today. Whatever you're feeling is most prominent in the zeitgeist. From
immediately, did anything stick out to you that you're like, that's so 2013 core?
Yeah, the term hipster. Like, or like thinking like everyone's gonna like, or like running for like local government. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this was all so like millennial 2014 core. Like, you know what I mean? Like when Ray opens up his coffee shop and the one across the street is called like Helvetica. And like, it's like, oh my, ew. Like that is so 2014 core.
I know. They introduced the first non-binary person on TV in that episode as well.
Oh my God, I remember that.
I love it. When Shoshana is like, is it okay if I say lame sauce?
Right.
I'm
We
like,
used it 3 times during this podcast.
I'm like, we're still using sauce. We're like epic sauce way. It's like it never ends. We'll never be free.
I think it's like funny. It's like I think we're all the same, just in different fonts.
Mm-hmm.
So like these girls are like, you know, they might like different things. They might think different things are cool or in or out. But like, it's funny because like there's a reason girls, it's kind of like timeless. It's because it's like we're all kind of like, oh, that's me in a different font. You know what I mean?
Literally.
I think Lorraine today would not dismiss Tad the first time he says I'm gay. It's like I think she would believe it right out the get-go.
Really?
I think she still would. I think part of her grief was just like, what? I mean, the way he goes about it, they just left therapy. She just got tenure, whatever. And she's like, no, you're not. And it's almost like she is in denial. Like okay, because you see her going through grief immediately, right? So in a sense, that means she accepts it as it's happened and she believes it. Her mind and her body is just going through the grieving stages really quickly, obviously for television.
Yeah.
But I think she believes it when he says it, and I think she's just in those different stages. Like, she's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, I like this. I think this is an interesting one too. When the professor's like, oh, at least your daughter's interesting. She does art. It's like my daughter,
right?
An infant surgeon. Like,
right, and then the other one's like, ours is on meth.
Yeah.
What an answer.
I love that Tad and Loreen are like, we have nothing to say on Hannah.
Yeah, but now I'm seeing, because of TikTok, doctors can actually be creatives in a way they weren't allowed to be before.
Well, I have to say that I spent Christmas on a yoga retreat in Mexico with a bunch of like women who are 15 years older than me for some reason. And all of them were doctors and all of them were so boring and bored. They were like, I'm bored. I don't have a personality. I'm just a doctor. What am I supposed to do all day? And I'm like,
that's my worst nightmare.
I'm like, you're so being real, Katrina.
No, doctors should be allowed.
Why we want to retreat with all of them?
It was just like a random retreat, and it happened to only be people not my age.
Right. Okay.
I had to find myself.
Yeah, I get that. I think I need to go on a fucking retreat.
It was awesome. They made steak out of banana. It was vegan.
Do you remember when Hannah and her mom go on that retreat and everyone just is sitting around the table talking about how excited they are for the next meal while eating lunch? Like,
oh
so
my God.
real.
There's still so many good parts of the show left.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Do you have any others? Well, you said you wrote down gay marriage not legalized.
Oh yeah. So like during this, gay people.
Gay men in particular.
Lesbians have always been able to get married, by the way.
Right,
like,
of course.
Gay men didn't have the right yet in this show, so that's kind of crazy.
They didn't?
No, because it happened in 2015, and this was like a year before.
But do you remember at the end of the episode, Desi said, I said I wouldn't get married until my gay cousin could get married. That's why I was like, oh, did it just become legalized or something?
No, the thing is, we have 4 years.
He was fucking stupid and just wanted an excuse to end the argument.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's like,
what is more romantic than being woke?
I mean, that's the epitome of Desi. He's like, you're like, that's so Desi. Like, he just uses, I can't.
Do you think he proposed to Clem ever? I'm like, what? Because he never acted this way, I think, towards Clem. We never got to see this side of him with Clem.
Clementine?
Yeah. His ex.
Oh my God, I forgot about Clementine. God, I don't know. Fucking justice for Clementine.
Yeah, but also
that girl was
fucking so mean. But I get it. She has a disease, and that's tough.
Autoimmune.
I think I would, if my boyfriend like started a musical journey with someone else and there was obvious sexual tension, like we're all human, I'd probably be mean too.
Yeah, she was valid, but I wish she didn't feel so angry. But it makes sense that she would.
I haven't seen anyone street campaigning in a really long time. I thought that was kind of a historical moment. It was very, are you seeing people on the street, like, giving you pamphlets? I think now, in my everyday life, someone sent me 500 texts being like, you have to respond right now. We need to do
Evan, that is such a good point. I haven't been campaigned on in person since pre-COVID.
Literally.
It's a post-COVID text. I mean, I think Shoshana helping Ray in 2023 would be her setting up, like, multimedia.
Texts and Instagrams And TikToks, like Ray, do this TikTok trend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ray'd have to be
totally.
silent dancing, pointing. He'd be pissed.
With
Yes.
different points.
That'll be
Free bagel
Remember?
Sundays. Oh my.
Ugh.
Well, I will say every single text I get from a campaign person is the meanest text I've received all week. You're not doing your part, idiot.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like, wait, I feel like I am.
They're all so mean. Yeah, a little.
They're like, give me $8 now, you bitch. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, stop.
Oh, whatever.
We didn't talk about eHarmony, if anyone cares about that. Online dating.
Oh my god. So who said, when was that brought up in this episode? It was something about someone meeting someone on eHarmony.
Ray joins eHarmony, and Shoshana is like, my best friend met her soulmate on eHarmony, and he used to be a professional baseball player, so there's no stigma.
I honestly think if we're doing like the then and now, something that's so different is the stigma against dating apps and online dating culture. Back then, you're watching it, you're like, eHarmony, like, please. Like, I will never meet my significant other on a dating app. I am a member of 4 of them, and I pay for them. So, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Really?
Right.
it's just,
Well,
that's,
I was telling Amelia this, and I wonder if you're thinking is this true. I've never thought in the last 5 years there's been a bigger point for meeting someone in person. Like, in the last 5 years, it's been so, like, dating apps so forward. And then I think right now, I've never felt it more, but, like, meeting people in person is so in right now.
it is so in.
It's so in.
It's brilliant.
No one's on the apps anymore. We're all there, but, like,
Oh,
we're
except
all
for me.
there.
I'm on the
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, we're like, so dating apps are over, and you're like, I just can, but I can't wait to meet people IRL.
My favorite one.
Hinge, probably.
Yeah, Hinge is truly the best. Tinder is. I went on Tinder in Rhode Island. I didn't swipe right a single time. I'm not even a.
No, I don't use Tinder anymore. I think I'm logged out of Tinder.
It's tough out there.
It's so tough. Ugh.
I downloaded Bumble this week, but it freaked me out, and then I deleted it.
Bumble's for friends now. It's for girl people.
I bet you in 10 years that's going to be like so normal, dating apps for friends. Because like right now we're like, what? Never. No, in 10 years, I'm sure.
No,
it'll be a little
you know, in New York, some of the girls that you meet one off, they're all like having their closest friend on earth be from Bumble BFF.
What the
Everyone's Bumble BFF.
I think
in
because
there.
of the way
They're going, like, on picnics.
the way Bumble BFF works is that you're meeting one girl. So then you're like, well, I guess you're my best friend because you're going to come to the random stuff. So then all the friends that you have from normal life, it's like, yeah, this is my Bumble BFF. So
yeah. Damn.
LOL. I wish Shoshana had Bumble BFF. Also, she has all these friends, but then she starts complaining about these friends in particular. But every episode, she doesn't fail to bring up a new best friend. I'm like, where are these people?
Who are the 2 girls though that started the Jamba Jeans?
Yeah,
the Jamba Jeans. Who are what are their names again? It's Rachel and
I cannot remember.
I forgot. It's so good though. It's
Jamba
so good.
Jeans, I need a pair of Jamba Jeans. It's like that was the first good America was Jamba Jeans.
right after this, I'm going to Jamba Jeans.
Oh, Jamba Juice is my shit.
Literally.
It's the best. They're pomegranate paradise. I'll never quit.
Are you talking about Jamba Juice?
Yes.
Razzmatazz. Oh, sign me up.
Oh my God, Razzmatazz. Well, Jake, we're absolutely addicted to you. We're so glad you're on the podcast. We've needed your voice, and thank God it's being heard.
Thank you for having me on. This was ever since as I started watching, I was like, I hope I can do this. And I'm happy that we finally made it happen.
Perfect.
Oh my God, this is what happens when community comes together.
Yes.
And we're so excited for your new podcast. It's called Therapist.
Yes, it's called Therapist. It came out yesterday. What?
You're amazing at branding.
Oh, thank you. I put a lot of effort into it. I like really thought on it and really tried. So I really appreciate that.
Well, we're sending you a virtual cake, welcoming you to the podcast community.
Thank you.
If anybody's watching at home, want to check it out, they have it on video version too on Spotify, yes?
Yes, video on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube, Therapist with Jake Shane.
And we'll tag all of Jake's socials in the descriptions. Jake, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get our tongues pierced in LA.
Yeah, we're in LA. Me as well.